Well, good morning, Kryptonians. This is Crypto Big Boss coming to you again with another great video, the 9th of October 2021. And this is going to be a follow-on video to the U.S. debt ceiling and how it may impact the price of cryptos as we move forward. So in the New York Times, there's an article out here that says the Senate approves a bill to raise the debt ceiling and avert the default for now. So we've got a video that we just put out yesterday talking about the relationship or the possible relationship between the debt ceiling and how every time these guys have to get together, Congress that is, to try to figure out how much they're going to raise the debt ceiling by, because we're about to default on our debts, that the price of Bitcoin historically has gone up. Specifically in 2013, in that video, you guys can check that out on this channel. In 2013, Bitcoin went up by 5.6 times over the course of that year, while the Congress was trying to sort out all kinds of debt ceiling issues. Here we are in 2021 with the same kind of thing going on, and I just wanted to dig into this article so you can see how this is just an ongoing problem that's going to migrate into 2022, and we're going to watch the price of Bitcoin and see if it does the same thing that happened in 2013. Let's get into it. It says an agreement struck on Thursday allows the government to cover its expenses through early December, but does little to address the crux of the partisan stalemate. It says the Senate passed legislation on Thursday to raise the debt ceiling through early December after a small cluster of Republicans temporarily put aside their objections and allowed action to stave off the threat of a first ever federal default. The action came the day after Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, the Republican leader, partly backed down from his blockade on raising the debt limit, offering a temporary reprieve. I'm going to read that part again. A temporary reprieve as political pressure mounted to avoid being blamed for the fiscal calamity. I.e., they haven't solved the problem yet. But the fragile deal to move ahead was in doubt until the very end, with some Republicans reluctant to drop their objections. Mr. McConnell and his top deputies labored into the evening on Thursday to persuade enough members to clear the way for a vote. Ultimately, 11 Republicans joined by a Democrat in voting to take up the bill cleared the 60-vote threshold needed to break the GOP filibuster. The final vote was 50-48, with Democrats unanimously in support and Republicans united in opposition. Representative Steny Hoyer of Maryland, the majority leader, said the House would return on Tuesday to take up the bill. Republicans played a dangerous and risky partisan game, and I am glad that their brinksmanship did not work, said Senator Chuck Schumer of New York, the majority leader. What is needed now is a long-term solution. Stop. What is needed now is a long-term solution. In other words, they don't got one. So we don't go through this risky drama every few months. So in other words, they're going to be going through this problem every few months. The little Band-Aid debt ceiling thing that they raised here, it says the bill would raise the statutory debt limit by $480 billion, an amount the Treasury Department estimates would be enough to allow the government to continue borrowing through at least December the 3rd. They're going to have this problem every 3 months. Every 3 months until they come up with a solution. Okay? Does this sound familiar? Okay, it should, because this is what happened in 2013. This is where we had the government shutdowns and folks were being furloughed and all this kind of stuff. And then they came back and they go and pay the government people back. All this kind of stuff is going on, okay? So what ends up happening is they raise the debt limit to $28.4 trillion on August 1st, and the Treasury Department has been using so-called extraordinary measures to delay a breach of the borrowing cap ever since then. Okay, listen to this. The agency estimated that the government would no longer be able to pay all of its bills by October 18th. Okay, once those fiscal accounting maneuvers were exhausted. Without congressional action before then, economists and lawmakers have warned of catastrophic economic consequences, including the U.S. government having to choose between making interest payments on its debt and sending out Social Security checks and other crucial assistance. So let me get this straight. We're about to break all the promises. The federal government of the United States is on the brink of breaking all the promises to the American people because they can't manage the tax dollars that have been collected / stolen for the past 35, 45, 55 years of all American citizens working and paying taxes. That's what I'm hearing. So the question is this: where do people put their money now that they know that after you give your money back to Uncle Sam, you are probably not going to get all of what you put back into the system? The natural thing to do is to look for other investment opportunities. And maybe, just maybe, that's what happened in 2013. Let's scroll down a little bit more and look at some of this. Look at this. There is no way to predict with any precision exactly how much you would need to increase the debt limit by to get a certain date, i.e. a certain date for when the money's going to run out. But in aiming for December 3rd, the measure could set up another consequential deadline for the first Friday in December, the same day that the government funding is set to lapse in Congress if Congress does not approve new spending legislation. Democrats hope the nearly 2 additional months will give them space to focus on hammering out, finalizing, and enacting most of President Biden's domestic agenda, which has been stalled by intra-party disagreements over an expansive multi-trillion-dollar social safety net, climate, and tax increase package. If raising the prospect of stopgap extension on Wednesday, Mr. McConnell had said that the Republicans would allow Democrats to use normal procedures to consider it. But Senator Ted Cruz, Republicans of Texas, demanded a recorded vote, meaning at least 10 Republicans would be needed to join every Democrat to move the bill. You might be asking yourself, what does all this banter between the Republicans and Democrats have to do with the crypto space? What it has to do with is, if these folks can't seem to iron out how we're going to do fiscal policy in the United States and not be in debt, I am presenting to you that this is the baseline case for why cryptocurrency is going to increase in value. It's yet another reason why crypto is going to expand. While they're sitting around here having trouble figuring out where the money should be spent, the people are becoming smarter. And as they become smarter, the idea that they can pay for goods and services with crypto instead of using US dollars is going to become readily apparent. And that I'm talking about when we get to the point where folks decide that they're going to pay the hairdresser with Bitcoin. Folks decide that they're going to pay their barber with Ethereum. Folks decide that they're going to start paying for services with crypto instead of using the US dollar. And people decide that, or they demand, I want to be paid with Redcoin. I want to be paid with Cardano. I want to be paid with Sheeb. When people start saying, pay me in these things instead of using the American dollar, because while these folks are sitting up here doing this, the US dollar is not getting stronger. It's getting weaker. And the inflation is going to be the death of the value of US currency. So now all of a sudden, if you want to maintain your standard of living, you're going to have another strategy. You're going to have to invest in something. And crypto is going to present that something in addition to stocks and real estate that has been a traditional method of investing their money. So, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you found it to be informative, please throw up the likes and throw up the shares. We're definitely going to continue to look at what's going on in the crypto space. Specifically, in this case, we're going to watch what's going on with Bitcoin and see if it continues to grow. We already know, I saw it this morning, a $55,000 Bitcoin. And for those who are not aware, maybe we should just go ahead and take a look at this while we're here. Let's just go to coinmarketcap.com and let's just go ahead and pull up Bitcoin's history and take a look at the chart real quick before we get out of here. I want to look at all, and I want to look at the high for Bitcoin real quick. The highest it's ever been, $63,314. Folks, we are climbing back up into that territory. $55,000 Bitcoin, we're not that far away. Okay, with Bitcoin's price being at $55,000, it's not very long before we're looking at all-time record highs. And I would say that, if this keeps going on, it's only October. What happens? We saw what happened in November and December of 2013 when the debt crisis was going on, the debt ceiling crisis. Please check out that video on this channel. What's going to happen here? Does history repeat itself again? So, if you're not a subscriber, please like, subscribe. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you on the next one.